Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm going to jump right into this. The devs did a Q&A last night which was hosted by OnePeg and supported by SatGirl. We now have officially confirmed that Voip will be added for February 6th. There will be a button where you can simply mute people, so that's fine. The large thing for a lot of players, I think, is the solo queue dungeon experience. So this is where it gets kind of strange for me because he admitted that this is just a full-blown experiment. They never really intended to make a lot of solo player content, at least not originally, but after seeing some of the players and some of the feedback and all the talk and all the discussions, they thought maybe they should try something, just see how it works early on in their development so they can kind of gauge where they want to go with their game. I'm hugely supportive of them taking into consideration player base, the people making basically comments and discussions and generating these topics for solo players. Now, what frustrates me a little is that his exact words were last night, B1 is a must-have for early access. So without B1, we're not going to get to see early access to this game, which means we're not going to get to play it as often as we like. So yes, I'm being a little selfish in this, but as a solo player, I do not care if we have solo queue. I don't really care if we have Voip even. I knew Voip was always going to be in the game. It could have come 6 months from now. It didn't really matter. I'm glad they added it. Yeah, I'm glad we have a new cave, which I'm definitely going to grind and use to make content, and I am looking forward to this cave boss. It's going to be fun. I have no problem with those additions. My only problem is I wish we could get early access sooner. He confirmed last night that essentially B1 has no development on it at all. It is just simply concepts right now. And what they've learned with this last 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks of development is that they have some serious constraints within their team. So they have 3 developers working on some of these designs, which are, one guy working on the levels and dungeons, one guy working on the systems, which is the weapons, and one guy working on the bosses. So then there's the last guy kind of overseeing all 3. So they essentially have 4 people, and they've realized that everything gets fed through those 4 people, so even if they want to create new stuff or add more stuff to the game, it is being kind of confined and reduced to kind of a, it's just not coming out as fast as they would like. So I think the approach they took was, look, we want to appease some of the solo players, so they created a creative way basically to gauge how much traction that's going to get them and what they can do to kind of keep a lot of these players happy. I seriously would have been fine with another playtest with just quality of life updates and them focusing purely on getting this game to where they want to see it for early access. I think they're quite surprised with the amount of people they're getting that are commenting and saying that they need solo this, solo that, different matchmaking, all these other things. I hope they kind of put some of that aside, use some of this to, yes, gauge the community a bit, but I think they're still going to have a huge amount of people that want to play this game, and if they even just announce that, look, we're going to work on solutions for this, we got some of this information from this playtest using the solo dungeon, we're going to make some decisions on that in the future, and if people are really, really frustrated with their solo experience, then maybe they can sit and wait and watch the game develop into a different experience for them. But I think currently they just need people playing the game and supporting the game, and I'm going to continue to do that. If it was an early access, I'd be paying for it right now. And once they start generating some income from this, they can start outsourcing stuff, they can start developing stuff a little easier. Maybe they get some more level designers and they can create solo player content a little faster for those people. Those things will all happen in time. So I hope they don't switch gears too much. I know they still plan for Q2 early access, but even a month later or 2 months later is something for me personally. I'm just like, damn, we could have had this game early April, and then we could be waiting on all this content and they could be kind of sitting there gauging all this stuff as we play it. It's not a full release. It's early access. So I'm perfectly accepting the fact that changes are going to be made. I have no issue with how the game runs currently. Just, keep going. And here's some money to help you out kind of thing, My big fear is that they're going to see a whole bunch of feedback saying that either the cave boss is too difficult, the cave boss loot isn't worth it, the PvP experience is bad in the solo dungeon, etc., etc. I know they're going to use these things to help develop this game further, but I feel like it's just more setbacks if it does go that way that I'd rather just avoid right now. The other thing they did say, there's a few other little additions that they did talk about. One of them being that there's going to be no stash changes, which I think is perfectly fine. I think they said they even surprised themselves because a lot of this stuff was created like chests and other ways to store their loot. But they're holding those things back simply because they like how the game plays when reduced stash sizes and reduced income are part of it. They're working a bit on the auction house to make it more functional, and they're working on a karma system for groups or people queuing into groups or whatever, so that if you queue with someone that maybe is just a guy that going around killing his teammates, there is like a red name tag or something that kind of demonstrates this guy isn't to be trusted. They don't want to completely eliminate the fact that teammates are going to kill each other, or there's going to be people that are cutthroat. They want that to be a part of the fear of joining into these lobbies or joining other players. They don't want it to be just smooth sailing, happy-go-lucky, everyone's getting along, let's just fight this boss, yada yada. They want a bit of intensity and fear, which I love. So I kind of applaud the decision not to make any changes to the stash. I'm looking forward to the karma system and what they can do with that. Other than that, I just want to play this game. As simple as that. Just let me play. I'm excited for February 6th. I will see you guys all there. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Q&A. I definitely recommend watching it. I mean, these guys are fabulous. They are basically taking time out of their development. I think he even said he was holding up the lunchroom where the entire staff works, so he was kind of getting rushed at the end of it. They're kicking him out of there as they're developing this game. Really, really cool to see. I love that they're doing this stuff and kind of entertaining these ideas early on, engaging what they can do with their content and what they can do with their community. I'm a huge fan of this game. That's not going to change. I just want your guys' opinion on whether or not you are fully excited for this VoIP and solo queue experience or solo lobby experience, or maybe you'd rather just avoid that and start playing early access now or earlier, and then we'll work on that stuff later. You tell me what you think. Thank you all again, and have a great day.